What's up, my dudes? Welcome back to RetroSupply. So a while back, we dropped a video on daily art habits, and you guys watched the absolute heck out of it. Which tells us one of two things. Either you really want to improve, or you're currently procrastinating on a drawing by watching videos about drawing. I see you. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
So today we're doing part 2, and we're going deeper. We aren't just drawing boxes today, folks. I'm going to run you through a gauntlet of specific, slightly weird exercises that will force you out of your comfort zone. So grab a pencil and let's get into it. Improving is all about getting a little uncomfortable. We all have our comfort zone. Maybe you draw the same 3 anime characters, or maybe you just draw skulls. Repetition is good for mastery, sure, but too much repetition can make you stale. It makes you a one-trick pony, and nobody wants to pay to see a pony do one trick like an idiot. You gotta force yourself to draw the things you suck at. For me, that usually means animals and hand lettering, so I decided to tackle both today. I found a sweet reference of a vintage cartoon wolf on iStock, and started sketching something similar out using the classic pencil from the Classic Illustration Brushes pack. I keep it super light at first, nothing fancy, just capturing some basic shapes, before blocking out some rough bubbly guidelines to make sure the lettering all aligns nicely. I really wanted the lettering to wrap organically around the wolf's head, so I focused on the general flow of the text blocks, instead of having rigid straight guides. And then I just did my usual process of layering up and dropping the opacity for cleaner passes, and eventually, I ended up with a dope little wolf ready for ink and color. The point is, I never would have come up with this idea if I hadn't pushed myself out of my comfort zone to try to actually draw the stuff that scares me. This also applies to your tools. If you're 100% digital, you need to touch some grass, my dude. And by grass, I mean physical mediums. Crack open a sketchbook, get out some charcoal and get your hands dirty. Buy some cheap clay and try to sculpt a head. Trying new mediums rewires your brain. It feels weird, it's messy, but it's low-key one of the best things you can do for your art. Most self-taught artists suffer from tutorial paralysis. You watch a video on coloring, and then a video on anatomy, and then a video on perspective, and you end up learning not much because you're just watching, you're not doing. So you need to be your own teacher, and you need to be a strict teacher, not the cool substitute who lets you watch movies. Set goals, write them down, create a syllabus for yourself. Don't just say, I want to get better. That means nothing. Say week 1 is for perspective. I'm only doing boxes and horizon lines. Week 2 is anatomy. I'm only drawing heads until I cry. When you break it down into chunks, it stops being scary and starts feeling more like a checklist. You can't eat the whole pizza in one bite. You gotta slice it up. Or you can try, but you'll probably choke and it won't be pretty, and I'm not coming to save you. We're starting with a few warm-ups today. They might feel a little silly, but do them anyway, trust me. First up is the blind scribble. I learned this one when I was a kid, and I still use it when my brain is empty. You look away from the paper and you start scribbling like a maniac for 5 or 10 seconds. Just a tangled mess of lines. And then you look at it and you play some Where's Waldo. You try to find shapes, faces, or creatures inside the mess. Maybe it's a little ghost guy or a dog, I don't know. This trains your pattern recognition. It forces you to be creative because chaos is doing half the work for you. Next up, we got a continuous line drawing. Pick an object, your coffee mug, your cat, your game controller. Now put the pen to the page. Draw the whole thing without lifting your pen once. If you mess up a line, you can't undo it. You gotta keep moving. It'll look janky and it'll probably look weird, but it teaches you line weight and flow, and stops you from being so precious and perfectionist about every stroke. Alright, time to move to the heavy lifting. These require some more brain power, so buckle up. First up, a few texture studies. I like to sketch out little boxes and fill them up with different types of texture, like wood, brick, or pebbles. Today I'm going to be cheating a bit with the texture brush pack. These brushes do some of the heavy lifting for me. They add depth and dimension so I don't have to manually render every single grain until my hand falls off. If you nail your textures, you can make even a basic sketch look dope. You want that juicy, tactile feel that makes people want to just reach out and touch the screen. Second up is negative space. This one's kind of trippy. Usually when we draw, we look at the object. We look at a chair. But for this exercise, I want you to look at the empty space between the legs of the chair. Draw the air. Draw the nothingness. This exercise is important because focusing on the negative space stops your brain from using symbols. You stop thinking this is a chair leg and start seeing pure shapes and angles. It's kind of like a cheat code for accuracy. If you can get the negative space right, the positive space, the object, appears by magic. Full transparency here, I kind of suck at this one. I tend to draw comic book and cartoon stuff, so line and shape are what I focus on. So eliminating that and looking at the negative space is a challenge. But that's exactly why I'm doing it. Spending 10 to 15 minutes trying something you suck at can make all the difference. Finally, we need to talk about failure. You're gonna make bad art. You're gonna draw hands that look like a bunch of thick sausages.
Daddy, chill.
And that's fine. Don't beat yourself up. Embrace your mistakes. Good artists don't just make mistakes, they analyze them. If you notice that you always draw eyes a little too far apart, and you notice that every drawing you make ends up looking like Lola from Shark Tale, don't get mad at yourself. Note it. And on the next drawing, consciously overcorrect. Your sketchbook is like a crime scene and you're the detective. You look at the body, figure what went wrong, and don't let it happen again next time. And there you have it. Those are a couple of daily art exercises and habits to get you on a good foot this year. And while we watch the time lapse of me finishing up this wolf dude, here's a quick shout out. If you want to make these exercises a little more fun, head over to RetroSupply.co. We've got the tools to simulate all those mediums we talked about. We got brushes that feel like real inkers, stamps that look like crusty old photocopiers, and texture packs that'll save you hours of rendering time. We don't sell talent, you gotta build that yourself. But we do sell the best dang equipment to help you get there. So support the channel, grab some loot, the link is in the description. Also, if you're digging these deep dives, smash the subscribe button. We're trying to build a dope little community of artists, so yeah, join in. Having said that, let's roll the time lapse. Look at that dude. He's a pretty cool guy. I know he practices good art habits, and you should too. Pick one or two to focus on this week, and don't try to do them all at once or your tiny brain will melt. Just pick a goal and draw some scribbles, man. Art is the long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. If you got something out of this, do us a huge favor. Smash that like button and hit subscribe. It feeds the algorithm gods and keeps me in this chair making videos for you guys. And for all the tools I use today, RetroSupply.co is the place, so go fill your cart. The links are down in the description. Now go make something cool, go make something ugly, just go make something. Happy creating.